Record.
Perfect. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you guys. It has already poured down rain. One of the baseball games for tonight has already been canceled. So it's just like welcome to life, where I always tell people I now have zero expectations and 100% flexibility. And I think life is just better if that's how you roll, right? So I am super excited because you guys don't know this, but when we're all working and stuff, I love to just see who's on and all these beautiful faces smiling back at me. And so I had seen quite a few posts about Yvonne, who you guys are going to meet. And so I just messaged her and picked on her and said, hey, you are doing all of the things. So Yvonne, I did a little bit of Facebook stalking and saw Emerald since 2020, which that was a fun time in 2020. But one of the reasons that I want you to share, that I want you guys to hear is in this business, and I think as we've seen this moving trend of how Plexus is awarding things, when you see people who are, earning the gift cards or the iPads or sweeping convention contests, it truly is equal to leadership and personal action that is still taking place. So I want you guys to remember that just because somebody is a senior ruby or an emerald or a diamond does not mean that contests just show up in their back office and like, yay, oh, looky there, I just swept a whole contest without doing anything. Like, that's not a thing. Okay, so I invited Yvonne to just jump on and share a little bit about her story, just because I will never get tired of hearing how somebody is introduced to Plexus, how somebody decides to share, and then eventually go Emerald, and for the 4th year in a row, sweeping convention contest. So Yvonne, I'm just going to let you take it away and let us know, how'd you find Plexus, all the things. I know you're already into health and wellness as a fitness trainer and instructor, so I can't wait to hear from you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Sarah, thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. I love to share my story because I never know who it's going to inspire, because I was so inspired. So I love doing that for other people. So like Sarah said, I'm Yvonne Veach, and I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm married with 3 kids and 3 children, almost 23, 20, and 16. So we are almost empty nesters, which is just crazy because it happens so quickly. I was a full-time personal trainer for many years, but now it's just kind of like my hobby. I do it on the side. So I'm going to share my Plexus story with all of you. So 4.5 years ago, I met a stranger in the gym locker room, and she had told me that she'd been taking supplements for 5 years, and I just had noticed her in classes before. I noticed her energy and her glow, and she's always so peppy. And I'm like, what in the world is going on with that girl? And we just struck up a conversation one day in the locker room, and I was just so intrigued and wanted to know more about her supplements. So she gave me samples, and I went home and I actually threw them out by accident. And she called me the next day and she's like, hey, what'd you think of the samples I gave you? And I said, oh my goodness, I threw them out. And I was so embarrassed. She's like, oh, she started laughing. No problem, no problem. I'll drop some more off today. And what's funny is that, she dropped them off and I tried them, and I actually didn't like the taste of Slim. It gave me heartburn and diarrhea, and I was bloated. So, and that's the funniest part about it, is that I could have just been like, yeah, no, this stuff is terrible. I want nothing to do with it. But she had called to follow up again, like a good ambassador does. And she, I told her, and she said, oh my goodness, don't worry about it. That will go away. Put some lemon in the Slim and just drink a lot of water. And for some reason, I just listened to her, and I didn't let the taste distract me, because I literally just had a gut feeling. So I sat down with her and I learned more about the products, and I did some research. And, she, of course, was like, you'd be amazing at this business, especially with your background and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no way, no how am I doing this? I told her she was nuts. I'm like, just give me all the products. How can I get them at the cheapest price? And back then we didn't have any discounts or there's nothing. It was just here they are. This is what you pay, $40 to get the wholesale price. And that was it. There were no free products or anything like that. I didn't care. I was like, how can I find it in my budget to fit this in? Because I was dealing with anxiety and depression and insomnia. Like those were the big ones. And I was medicated for it. And I just really no longer wanted to be. I was also in a transition in my life with my job and was just 6 months away from having some just trauma in my life. And I didn't know it. So hindsight, that meeting in the locker room was God's plan. He knew that I needed the products and the community and the business before I even did. So I started my products on Christmas Eve. I took my box with me on vacation to the mountains, and I opened up my box and I was just so excited on Christmas Eve. And my husband said, "You are nuts. Just wait until New Year's Day to start this." And I was like, no way. I'm starting it right now. Like when I do something, I just go all in. And, he was like, okay, fine. I'm not sure what's going to happen to you, but okay. So, sure enough, of course, like 2 weeks in, he started stealing my stuff and I set him up his own account. So I started my products, and then just in natural conversation with my clients that had followed me from the club that I was at, I told them what I was doing because we talked about everything. And they immediately wanted to sign up and do whatever I was doing because they trusted me. And I had no idea that I had a website, how to sign them up, what to even offer them, what it would do for them. But, I called my sponsor, Michelle, and asked her, I said, I think you said something about me having my own website, and I have people that want to try this. So what do I do? So some of them signed up, a couple of friends did. And that first month the month, when commissions ran, I made a total of $750. And I was like, what in the world just happened? So at that point, I knew that I had to look into the business more seriously. And then, once I made up my mind, I just hit the ground running. So I just, felt the passion in my veins that I have never felt before. And it just turned into just such a huge, powerful purpose. And I think it was a purpose that I was missing in my life. So I quickly became obsessed with, how I was feeling with the company and the culture. We have, a great community here in Raleigh. I watched all the testimonies, you guys, and documentaries, and I just couldn't get enough, so I really built my belief that way. And then before Plexus, I really had no brand on social media. I had zero presence. It was just people tagging me in things, and I really did not know much about it. But I just listened, to my mentors, and they told me what to do. And I did it, and I took advantage of, just the free training and the mentorship. And I was just a sponge. So with the help of my Plexus journey, I finally have the confidence in myself as a leader. And I started out honestly as an introvert with no confidence whatsoever and no network marketing experience. And that's what I love about this, is that really we all start in the same place. We start at ground zero, and it takes work in building yourself and your confidence, and you can learn the skills. So I did not step into the business this way. I just developed myself. It took work, consistency, just showing up for all the things and getting really uncomfortable. And I'm sure, I'm sure everybody on this call has heard all of this before, and you'll hear it again and again and again and again. But it's funny, when I started, I had the vision that I was going to be doing this with all of my friends and all of my, family. And it's just funny how it all worked out, because it's just quite the contrary. The team that I'm doing this with were really acquaintances or just strangers. And it's just crazy how it happens. I just recently had 2 friends of mine join me last year. And that was, I was just so happy to have that finally. And I'm just so grateful for them, for my team, that, they've just become family to me. And they're really the people that I do life with now. So I was told early on by one of my mentors to put my blinders on and just keep doing what I was doing, to ignore all the negativity and just keep working on my mindset, and that my team would come if I just kept doing that. You attract what you put out there. And I'm just really glad that I listened. My baby team went Emerald, 20 months in, and I couldn't believe it. Here I am. I'm just like, I want it 20 months before. I just wanted to take the products and wanted nothing to do with it. But it's been such a whirlwind, and I love this team, and we continue to grow together every single day. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness when you know that you're making such an impact on so many lives just because of one decision. And there's this whole other part of this journey that is so, so fun. And like the recognition that, Sarah was just talking about, like, is surreal. The trips that we get to take together, and the beautiful Lexus that I'm driving, the cash bonuses and all the gifts, and oh my, the shopping sprees. If you have not been on a shopping spree with Plexus, you need to get there. So I've been able to sweep all of the Leaders Retreat contests and the convention contests each time since I've started. And that, like, it just doesn't, happen. It just doesn't appear. It happened through work and developing my team. And I still can't believe it. And I never, ever imagined this. But this is not what it's all about. I hope that you never make it about that. It just feels really good to be rewarded and appreciated for the work that you do. I know in a lot of workplaces, most people don't get that. Plexus is so generous, and they really want to take care of us. Like, they want to celebrate us, and they want to show their appreciation. So that's my story. I don't know if you want to open it up to slides or Q&A at this point.
Yeah, we can do, if you guys have any specific questions for Yvonne, whether any part of her story jumped out. I did jot a few things down that I just want to highlight, because one of the biggest things is you enrolled with a stranger from some samples.
Yes, that is a big,
and so I think that's an encouragement to everyone. And that's my story too, is that somebody, Amy Sage, it's, there's bits and pieces to it, but ultimately she mailed me 3 sticks of Slim that sat on my desk for 3 months, got buried under the junk mail. But I just want everybody to know right now, if you don't feel like you have the people partnered with you who you thought were going to be, right? Like, you're hoping your best friend is going to do it with you, but maybe that's not the case. So I think that's amazing that you enrolled with a stranger because of, maybe eye contact and a smile and a really good question that opened up a conversation. And I think that that's just incredible.
And I want to add one more thing about that, is that I had a friend with me that day that was a guest at the gym. And she was in that conversation with me in the locker room. And she said so rudely in front of Michelle, "Yvonne, you do not need supplements and you do not need Plexus." And guess what? I'm no longer friends with her. Because that was really eye-opening for me, because if I would have listened to her, my life would not have been changed.
Absolutely. And that's what somebody's saying in the comment. Letitia, you're saying, put those blinders on. I love that you put those blinders on. You guys just have to remember, and as a people pleaser, recovering people pleaser, I used to delete Facebook posts if I thought somebody didn't like it. Like, I allowed my decisions to be based on what I thought other people's perceptions of me were. That is a terrifying and horrible place to live. I mean, years and years ago, like, codependent relationships, and so the fact that you were like, I'm going to look into this, I'm going to stick to it, even if day one of the samples didn't go amazing. I remember I had the same experience with Slim. When I had the samples, I was in the bathroom all day. And then I was like, I must have needed a detox. Like, I was so excited. I like leaned into that. But Letitia, you have your hand raised. Do you have a specific question for Yvonne?
Well, yes, my question for you is, like, currently, I love how when you mentioned in the gym how the young lady followed up with you. That was gold to me, because I felt like if she didn't, you probably wouldn't be where you're at today had she not constantly reached out. So, in picking back off of that, how have you started to implement your follow-up routines every week since you came into this business with somebody constantly reaching out to you and actually turning that negative experience that you had with the Slim, because I had the same experience with Slim as well, but turning that negative into a positive. So
well, sometimes I actually put it right out there. I'm like, you may not like the taste, and that's okay. It might make you feel funny, and that's okay too. Because a lot of people, they'll go through detox and be like, this stuff is making me sick, I can't take it. No, that's good. That's a good thing. You want to go through that. That means that you're detoxing, you're getting rid of all the bad stuff. So I kind of put it out there up front. I don't want people to be surprised. I really don't. So, and as far as follow up, I have my list. I have like columns of lists of people that are new, people that I still need to follow up with and touch. Like, I don't give up on anybody unless they tell me, leave me alone and don't ever talk to me again. That's the only time.
Perfect. Can you walk through, so we've been doing the winning day now for, a good year or two. Can you kind of walk through, so as somebody who has not swept a contest this year or last year, kind of walking through your goal setting, and it's not just, like I said, it's, you don't just get like, you're adding 3, you're adding 6, like you're doing that personal work. Can you just go through a really quick, when you're doing your winning the day, where are you finding your leads? How are you filling your funnel? Who are you talking to? Kind of what does that look like for you?
Sure. So anytime I meet somebody, and I do try to talk to as many people as possible. And like now it's hard because my kids are older and I don't have all the sports anymore. So I have to find different ways to meet people. So, I literally will be walking out of park and I will talk to somebody. If they want to talk to me, then that's great. Right. And I did, like, I met people that way, like just walking my dog, and people, you just start talking. But I have joined networking groups, specifically women's networking groups, and that's been pretty amazing. And I'm really actually new at these networking groups. I'm trying to find like where I vibe the best. And who knows what that can turn into, because that's really about referrals. So when you get in with the group and they know you are the gut health person, they're going to refer their people to you. So that's been really big. And then I have never, ever sent like a cold message to somebody, because honestly, I don't like how that feels. I've gotten several of people that I don't know. Like, I think a cold message to me is somebody that you don't know, right? Like, I've sent messages to people where we haven't had the plexus conversation before, but to me, that's not a cold message because we know each other. So it's like warm, it's still warm. Cannot be installed because Zoom. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to get booted off. I just got the message. So anyway, so with especially Facebook, I'm not really big on Instagram, because for me, Instagram is almost like a part-time job, where I'm definitely like, Facebook is where I've grown most of my business. I'm in there, just like, we've all been taught, in there building relationships and starting conversations, and not going in and just going bam, plexus, right? I know who's watching me. You know who's watching you. If they're in your feed, they're watching you, right? So I always take note of that, and I will go to their page and comment on stuff and try to start some conversations that way. Always sending happy birthday messages to people, like, happy birthday, I hope you're doing well, I saw that, blah, 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 congratulations. So they know that I'm there, that I'm always there. And, people, and now that I've been doing this 4.5 years, and now I'm seeing it, people 4 years later are like, hey, they've never commented, they've never said nothing, they've never said anything about plexus. And now it's like, I think I need that plexus stuff. I'm like, okay, all right. And I have one funny story. So my friend Kim Danduran, which you're going to see on stage at convention, she is my son's theology teacher from freshman year, 6 years ago. And she signed up with me. I was still going through some detox, and she signed up with me. She's like, I need this plexus stuff. But she was so just focused on weight loss and all of the things like she had eating disorders and she took a lot of diet pills and all the things. And she signed up, and then before she even opened her product, she saw me at school with a big zit on my nose. And she said, "What the heck is that?" And I said, I think I'm detoxing. And she's like, "Oh." She went home, returned her products, and canceled her whole subscription. Okay. Without even telling me. I didn't even get, we were getting the notice like someone canceled. I was like, what in the what? And I sent her a message. I'm like, "Girl, what happened?" And she's like, I'm not ready for all that stuff. I don't want to detox. I don't want anything. But she was not ready. Her mindset was not ready. But, we continued our relationship. She followed me. A year and a half later, she sent me a message and said, "I'm ready for that plexus stuff again." So she's about to go emerald. Like that. It's so crazy to me how that all happens. Like she would have never thought it. I would have never thought it. But every day she's like, "Thank you so much for not giving up on me. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, because it has literally changed who I am."
I think that's such an important thing to remember. That's about their timeline and not ours, right? Their deadlines, and loving them through the process. I mean, when you got followed up with and you said, "Hey, I accidentally threw the samples away." She could have been like, "Sorry, this chick's not worth my time," right? But no, she stayed on it. She called you again. She said, "That's okay. I'm going to drop off more samples." So I love that. Our timing is not necessarily somebody else's timing.
Yeah. And you can't take it personally either.
Yeah.
Not about you. It's about them.
Okay. So we've got some questions about the networking. Is this mostly like in-person networking events where you actually go to like a restaurant and y'all get your 5 minutes to say what you do and all of that?
Yeah, it's actually all of the ones that I've been to. It is a 30-second elevator speech. That's all you get. So it's a little bit stressful. So I practice it. Like, I know what it is, but when you're under the gun, I practice it on the way there, and I say it out loud to myself, 5 times. So, because it's a lot to say in such a little time. So you need to be impactful in 30 seconds.
Perfect. And I love that. And just to go way back, y'all, the second book I ever read when I decided I was going to do this was Beach Money by Jordan Adler. And he has a section in there, either in his book or one of his podcasts that I read about his book, that said exactly what you said. It's a referral business, meaning if you are the one that adds value and knows somebody's name across the board, if you know a painter, plumber, you name it, if you have somebody's name for personal relationships that you have developed, that makes you incredibly valuable, and people are going to trust you. And I'll never forget that Jordan Adler said, it took him years, but he had that Rolodex of Jordan became the go-to person. If I need something, I'm calling Jordan because he is going to give me a referral or a recommendation for somebody who's good at that. And that increased his exposure to he was opening up networks of every trade imaginable. And that always stood out to me, that I want to be somebody that knows people and somebody who is really good at encouraging or building up and shining lights on other people, because I think that probably, will indirectly come back. Okay. Everybody says they want to hear your 30-second elevator speech.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And what comes around goes around, right? It's karma. So you just, if I am going to be, recommending people, they're going to recommend back. So that's the beauty of it. Especially if you develop that relationship and they trust you. So yes, I have it right here. It's in my notes. So Yvonne Veach with Plexus Worldwide, the OG gut health company since 2006. We offer a wide range of plant-based supplements that focus on gut health, inflammation, blood sugar, immune system, weight loss, energy, mood, and even skin. No more Band-Aids. We get to the root cause of your issues. Get healthy and happy with Yvonne Veach, Plexus Worldwide. And I can do that, that's 15 seconds. So they're already happy because I didn't go over.
And you have those key words in there, and somebody's going to say, I have blood sugar issues. I want to have gorgeous skin like she does. Like that, you definitely hit the highlights. And I think that's one thing that's important when we share on social media is we don't have to tell it all and fix it all. You just piqued enough curiosity that people are going to ask questions.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, I am so excited. Thank you so much for sharing. Jennifer, you had the best idea ever when you said on Mondays, let's get motivation from other people, because I feel so inspired and energized, like just hearing different stories about how you were introduced and the success that you've had, and obviously recognition. And I'm telling you, I'll piggyback on that. Recognition, most people working any other job, it's a thankless job. You get a paycheck and they're like, okay, awesome, there's your paycheck. We always joke with my husband, he's been with the same hospital for almost 20 years and he's got seniority and he's, given his blood, sweat and tears for that place. And he'll come home with an umbrella, for CRNA week or a coffee cup. And I'm like, that's what they feel about you. I think an umbrella was one of the better recognition things one year. Like, it's just, so the fact that we have the opportunity to help people and be fulfilled in what we do by sharing health, hope, and happiness, but then also, I'll see you in Mexico, I'll see you in Hawaii, all of the things that we get to be rewarded with, just, is kind of, as we say in Louisiana, lagniappe. It's just, cherry on top, icing on the cake, something that we have. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do have some helpful tips.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Hold on. Can I share screen?
Jennifer, are you able to make her host just so she can share her screen?
Yes. No pressure here. Here we go. Okay. I think I did it.
All right, hold on. I don't think so.
You maybe had to accept it. I got a notification saying the host had been switched. You may just be able to share your screen now. There you go.
Yeah.
10 tips to a successful plexus business. Awesome. Look at you go.
Okay. Yes. And I do have some, we could do a power hour, I guess, if you want to, right? Or, that's the plan, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. So these are, and these are things probably that you've heard a million times, I'm sure, but this is what's worked for me. Number one, show up humble and coachable. You do not know everything and you never will. So I have met some people that are not humble and coachable, and it is so difficult. It's so difficult because they just don't want to learn. And it's really difficult because this is a journey of learning and growing. So it's important to remember that. So before Plexus, I did not I thought self-help was weird. And that's for people that got problems, right? And once I read my first book, I was hooked after that. And I can't read fiction anymore. I try, and it's really hard for me. So developing your why, I did that in the first month of my journey, and it has evolved, but it has to be so powerful that I've heard, I was told in the beginning, it should be so powerful that you can move mountains for it, right? It gets you through those hard days. And have a vision that is so clear that you can see it, feel it, smell it, all the things. It should be so specific and so clear. And it should be, I want that plexus Lexus. No, that's not good enough. If your why is big enough, that plexus will just come, right? That'll be a side effect of your why. And then set scary goals. So if you set goals every month that are comfortable, maybe you'll maintain, maybe you'll increase a little bit, but you have to really stretch yourself with this. It should make you sweat and make your heart pitter patter a little bit. And I do it with my team. I will say, and if I don't meet the goal, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to die, but I still set the goal, and I make sure I tell my team, because they need to see me setting scary goals. right? And I'll put it out there. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. But I did, and I can't take it back. The mindset work, that's so major, and that's part of the reading or listening to trainings or listening to podcasts. That's not only going to change your business, but it's going to change your life. All right. The 3%ers say it's 20% skill, 80% mindset. That's not a joke. That's not fluff. That is for real. It is for real. So true. And I definitely learned that along the way. I'm like, wow, everything that they said is really true. They were not lying to me. Treat this like a job that you can get fired from. Okay. The hard part about this is that you need discipline. You don't have a boss telling you what to do. You don't have a boss reprimanding you, writing you up, or all the things. You are the boss. So you have to show up for you, right? Show up for those calls and the trainings. Don't make excuses of why you can't go unless you can't go, right? And the events, you got to get to the events no matter what, and if it's a cost problem, share the room with 4 people. Do what you can, bring your own food, but get to the events, because it just changes everything. It will put a fire in you like nothing else will. And of course, the work, the IPAs, the income producing activities, do them consistently. Do not compare yourself. That's very easy to do, to compare yourself to people that are rising all around you. And that is going to be the detriment to your to your success. You want to look at them and be inspired, guys. Be inspired. Ask them, interview them. What's going on? What are you doing? I would love to know. But please don't compare yourself and feel bad about yourself. Everybody's journey looks different. This is really big for me. Number 7, be a servant leader. So I always put my team's needs before my own. And I just do whatever they need within reason, of course, because I do want them to be leaders and not followers. And the reason why I said don't give up is because I have my list of people that are still my dream teamers. I have 7 level 1s that are working right now. And I still have a dream team list. So those people don't know it yet. And I keep, I plant the seeds here and there, and they don't know what I'm doing, but eventually they'll come around, right? Focus on the relationships, and then the numbers come second, right? So I remember seeing the convention contest for the first time and thinking, I can't even look at this. I don't want to look at this. I'm just going to work my business the way I need to, and that will come. And I swept that contest. I mean, I would look at it from every now and then, being like, okay, good. I think I'm doing okay. But yeah, I think that was important in my journey. And then focus, share the opportunity like crazy. The first year of my Plexus business, I really didn't talk about the business because I was scared to. And then I started talking about the opportunity, and it changed my business. Because I was just like products. And silly me, I didn't talk about the business. So don't make that mistake. And then, of course, don't quit. Don't quit. Take a break, but come back and keep going.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Can you jump back to number 9? And
Yeah.
when you say share the opportunity like crazy, so I am all about like leading with reset. I love the reset. I've done 11 of them, like product. Can you share, like when you sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to share the opportunity. What does that look like? Either for existing VIPs, or if you're leading with prospecting and recruiting with the business, can you just give 2 minutes on that?
Yep. So it looks different for everybody. So it may be somebody that's new, just sharing the incentive for the month. That's simple, right? But for somebody that I know personally that would do amazing, I plant seeds, right? So currently I'm working with one of my neighbors that she would kill it, right? So I have probably given her like 5 touches so far, and it's sending a documentary. Girl, you would be amazing at this because of A, B, and C. Now it has to be legit, it has to be authentic. I can't blow smoke up her butt, right? She's going to know it. It has to come from the heart. I know people need this because not only because everybody needs the products, that's a no-brainer, but I have people on my team that don't need the money, guys. They have the money. They need this because of the community and the purpose. And when you ask those questions and when you know people, because you're asking the questions, you will know what their pain points are. So that's what I talk about. Some people are like, you guys are just so much fun. I want to have the fun because we have a really fun team, right? We don't have a lot of green personalities on my team. We just don't. And I'm okay with that because I know where the green personalities are and I will go find them and I will go ask the questions. But we are not, ingredient gurus. We are like, let's celebrate each other. Let's have fun. Let's boost each other up. That's what we're all about. And we're attracting those kind of people. Did that answer?
Yep, that's perfect. And I think that's one of the biggest, I think that's one of the biggest things that was perfect is planting those seeds and just saying, this is why I think you would be amazing at this, and just, vocalizing that and planting that seed for that vision. I think that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Awesome. Jennifer, you have any questions?
Well, I was just going to say, she said something and I loved it so much. I think it's a word that maybe we should think about more and talk about more. She said, I basically won the contest because I developed my people. And I like that, to think about what goes into developing. What does that look like? Is that holding their hand? Is that dragging them along? No, like what exactly is developing? So maybe we think about that, Sarah, in the future. Yvonne, I thought this was great. Everybody loves you. You want to come every Monday?
You really, developing is just loving on people and believing in them, because when they start this business, they don't have belief. I didn't have belief. I borrowed somebody else's belief until I had my own, until I created my own. And that's what I do for my team. And that's what they're doing down the line.
Yep, absolutely. And that on winning the day, it really truly is moving people to the next step, sowing seeds for later, all of those things that just go along beautifully with it. So I really appreciate that. Well, we're going to take the next 25 minutes or so. We'll leave the chat open if you guys have any other questions for Yvonne, but we are in what we're starting a magic week, right? Where anything is possible and anything can happen. I love months that have 31 days. You get that extra freebie for, finishing the month strong. So is there a conversation you need to start? Is there a sample you need to send? I'm telling you, I do not make phone calls very well, but every time I get on a follow-up phone call and it goes well, I'm like, why am I still so scared of making actual phone calls? But, is there somebody that you need to call and just say, I'm thinking about you or checking in? All of those things. We're just going to get into follow-up mode, conversation mode, and rock and roll for the next 25 minutes or so. We are almost out of time, so I just wanted to come back on here. Next Monday will be April 3rd. So we will be in a new month with new goals, but I just want to encourage everyone. I have not given up on earning the iPad. And with these next 5 days, anything is possible. Like, I literally believe you could get somebody to sign up today who then can go on to earn their iPad this week. Like, anything is possible, for sure. It's just a matter of planting those seeds, getting in those conversations. You get samples out today, you got time to follow up and get them signed up by Thursday or Friday, right? So Yvonne, thank you so much for sharing. I just feel so inspired, and it's always great to hear other stories and what people are doing. So thank you so much for sharing.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Jennifer, I'm not sure if you guys were able to switch back over to host so that you can stop the recording, because I know that we're gonna.
I think you're the host now. We have a host malfunction. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so see, Yvonne, really quick, one more time, just try for Jennifer. I'm just wondering if she started the recording, if she has to stop the recording, because I know that so many people are going to want this recording to listen back to.
See if you can move me, like go hover over my name, Sarah, and then try to click on more.
Spotlight, chat. See, guys, anybody can do this.
Actually, I think I did it.
There.
All right. Did it. Have a good Monday, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See ya.